What's up, everybody? Emperor John Kill 3D Gaming here, and all I gotta say is this is the first time I'm probably gonna have to split a video game review into two parts because there is just so much to talk about with Hogwarts Legacy. Some you're gonna hear right now, for what I have played. Um, I'm still beating the game, that's why it's gonna be two parts, but I'm at the halfway point of the story. So I've accumulated enough knowledge to at least review half the game now, and when I complete it, probably on this weekend, I will give you the rest of it. So, Hogwarts Legacy. It's got some stigma around it, not gonna lie, mainly by politically agenda driven weirdos. But should you, as a gamer, play and buy Hogwarts Legacy? And the answer is a resounding yes. No. Playing this game does not make you a transphobe, does not make you big, it does not make you any of that. So throw all that out the window because all that is irrelevant when it comes to playing the game itself. For any of us who has grown up, there are several different types of not several, but there's a couple different types of Harry Potter fans. You have the purists, you have the media only, which is absorbing just the movies. You have the book viewers that only digest the books. You have people that'll digest both book and film, video game, you name it, there's a different type of Harry Potter fan. But this game, in particular, answers to any one of those mediums. If you love the books, you're going to love every detail that is put into this game. If you love the movies, you get to experience the magic for yourself, no pun intended. And if you're just somebody who is not interested in the game, then hey, look, no harm, no foul. If it's not your type of game, it's not your type of game. But what I will say, though, is how expansive this game is. There's been a couple of different open world Harry Potter games, notably the Philosopher's Stone, the Chamber of Secrets, the Prisoner of Azkaban, and then not the Goblet of Fire. That was a level based game. Order of the Phoenix, and then the Half Blooded Prince. Those are what you would consider the open world Harry Potter games. At least it's just on the Hogwarts grounds. But here, you go beyond the Hogwarts grounds. You experience the game at your own pace and speed. And that's one thing I like about it. Everything is tailored to how you want to play it. If you guys remember way back when, Dragon Age, Mass Effect, how those two games, I'm talking about Dragon Age Origins. Dragon Age Origins and the first two Mass Effects really held on to you and you just kept going through it regardless of what the game threw at you. In this game, you're going to want to do everything. You're going to get caught off the beaten path. The main campaign is about 30 hours, and I'm at the 15-hour mark, so I'm at the halfway point of the game. And that's not on top of already farming, which I'm not farming just yet. I'm doing other little things to accumulate my experience in the game. You know, you go to different classes to learn different spells. You do meet different students and have interesting dialogue with them. Also, depending on your house, which is also one thing. The whole game, the beginning of the game, that's just one big lead up to you getting put into your house and getting your own wand. You get knocked into the action like immediately of some goblin uprising with dark wizard poachers. You know, without spoiling the game, this really feels like something that you would have watched on the big screen. This feels like a high quality big screen story for Harry Potter or a TV show if done right. This game takes place in the 1800s, which at a point does not contradict the films and does not contradict things in the book. So it settles perfectly in a place where you can do all these crazy things in this universe and not have it be questioned, especially in the 1800s where this kind of thing, you know, superstition, wizardry, and things like that in all medium are usually at its highest before the modern era takes over fully. From different mini games to help you with your classes, and that's one thing that they nailed. They nailed you being a student at Hogwarts. No matter what house you're in, you feel what it's like to be a student. You're going to get caught up if you're not doing the main missions or side quests. Hell, you're doing companion missions where you do get several companion friends throughout the game. And therefore, that unlocks different magic spells, different equipment and gear. There are so many things that they utilize from the wizarding world in this game. Hell, did you think you could use the mandrake, the little screaming baby plant, as a weapon? As something you throw at your enemies and it basically helps you? I didn't know that either. And the open world, you will want to discover every little bit in piece. You know, and there's certain parts that are locked off until you get to certain parts of the game. So you can't just up and rush because certain area enemies in these areas do have higher levels versus some others. But that's where it comes to you as the player. And you follow what you're given at the beginning by Professor Weasley called the exploration guide or the field guide. This is where you could keep track. This basically works as your menu, and it fits within the Harry Potter universe. It's like a floating book. It opens up, takes you from panel to panel where you got to go, doing different challenges for combat, exploration, putting talent points into specific core trees that you want to master on top of your powers that you already have. There's searching for mythical beasts that you can put in your own little what was the word I'm looking for? It's like very similar to what the guy does from Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, what Newt Scamander does, where you can find all these little creatures, put them in the briefcase, and then open up your little own observatory, which looks like a little tiny door, a little tiny greenhouse. But then when you walk inside, it's a massive world where you could take your creatures. You could customize the different handles of your wand. You can actually customize the wand first when you start the game. You do have a couple different options. You could create different style of character that fits you. You just have to get used to, yes, this game takes place in Europe. I think, believe Great Britain most likely. So everybody has a very British accent, which is helps authenticate where the game takes place. And the castle itself looks both original and has elements of the films. Now, like I said, I've never read the books, so I don't know how the castle's description. I'm pretty sure the movie has to do a faithful recreation to the castle, but you could tell that there's elements in this that could come from the books and that come from the movie to give it its own unique style. But locations that you recognize in the schools or areas you have seen before, they're there. They might have a different coat of paint or a different styling, but it's the same location you remember from the Great Hall changing from every season, which is another unique thing. As the seasons go on, just like a year at Hogwarts, you can see the school changing, students reacting to you differently as you improve depending what kind of road you choose. Yes, there is several points of the game where you can choose to do light or dark things or choose what kind of wizard you want to be. And forget the sniffing, I told you I'm still a little under the weather. Combat is the one thing in this game that they had to nail, in my opinion. And I believe they nailed combat in this game perfectly well. You could swap between, what would you consider your weapon wheel with the D-pad. You could swap to different slots of spells where you could slot 4 spells in each wheel. That's a total of, hold on a second, 4, 8, 12, 16. 16 different spells, both used for utility-wise of going exploring the world, and then others for combat. And that also determines what kind of wizard build are you going for. Somebody who's exploration, somebody who's full-on combat, somebody who's defensive, a little in the middle. You can be the wizard you want to be. And that's what this game really does nail. The different enemy types is another thing I enjoy. And the last thing I thought would be a threat would be the goblins in this, because the goblins quite literally little devils in the movies, but here they're a threat, and I didn't think they would be. You not only have to worry about goblin types and dark wizards, and no, there's more than 2 enemy types as some outlets, well, woke outlets like to lie and tell you. There's dark creatures, there's giant spiders, there's a different types of enemies between wizard magic wielders and enemy wild beasts in the world. Some that are hostile and some that you can actually, what is it? Like I said, capture for your wizarding zoology. I know that ain't a fucking word, but I need something to describe where you take these little things. But on top of that, you find materials for potions and everything you're gonna need to help you throughout this game. And without spoiling too much, so far, Hogwarts Legacy, you are nailing it out the park. But this has been part 1 to my review for Hogwarts Legacy. There's a lot more I want to say, but I've only managed to cover at least the first half of important parts. When I work on part 2, there will be a lot more I need to talk about because still am uncovering a lot more in this game. But that's besides the point. Should you buy this game so far after at least hearing half of my review? That is still up to you. If you're a Harry Potter mega fan, I know you're probably going to be on board with it. If you're just a Harry Potter casual media intaker, such as just movies and video games, hey, this is great for you too. It has a little something for everybody. And that's all I got to say about it. Be sure to like, subscribe, favorite. I'm going to get back to playing more Hogwarts Legacy, concluding the game, and have another review for you guys out by next week. Thank you guys, and take care.